Hello, today we'll be talking about Raichu, the only evolution of Pikachu, who evolves via Thunderstone. This is true for both Alolan version and non-Alolan version. And the final evolution of Pichu starting in Pokemon Gold and Silver. If one wishes to consider Alolan Raichu as number 26, that version is first Psychic and the first Electric Psychic Pokemon. Its past PYC dates are March 23rd, 1996, January 12th, 1999, November 2nd, 2001, April 23rd, 2004, June 14th, 2007, April 4th, 2010, January 23rd, 2013, November 14th, 2015, September 4th, 2018, and June 25th, 2021. I like the design of the original Raichu. While it may not necessarily be as cute as Pikachu, I feel it works, given that it's the next stage of life. As for Alolan Raichu, it's fine, but I do like that it harkens back to Surfing Pikachu. While Squirtle has a special place in my heart for being the first starter that I ever had in Pokemon, and Pikachu is the mascot that everyone loves, Raichu is my favorite Pokemon. This may be surprising to a lot of you. I think a lot of people think of Raichu, not Alolan Raichu, as being a bit of a bully in the anime, which I think is an unfair portrayal of this Pokemon. As an autistic man, I can connect to this Pokemon in a way that I can't with other Pokemon. I believe that electricity in the Pikachu line is a metaphor for emotions, and different age groups' ability to handle those emotions. For Pichu, little kids have a hard time keeping their emotions in. I think several Pokédex entries reflect this fact. For Pikachu, older kids, teenagers, and adults are expected to be able to hold their emotions in. I think several Pokédex entries reflect this idea. For Raichu, though, one would expect it to have an easier time holding in its electricity, as it's the next stage of Pikachu. But the creators didn't do that. Perhaps it's just supposed to be the raw power of the Thunderstone. I don't know. I just know that Raichu has a harder time controlling its electricity, as indicated by many of the Pokédex entries. It's easy for me, as an autistic man, to see myself or other autistic people in Raichu. Raichu are aggressive, not because they are, but because trainers don't know how to allow them to release their electricity in a safe way. I look at this and I see this release as stimming, something people, particularly autistic people, do that helps us regulate our emotions and release excess energy. This is not to say that Raichu and the other members of its line are based on autistic traits. Certainly I don't believe this to be intentional. Who knows how many people on the Pokemon team are autistic themselves, whether they know it or not. I don't want to make assumptions about any of that. I'm merely saying that I can see myself in Raichu, and that it needs a lot more love than it gets. To a degree, I like that Alolan Raichu is portrayed as generally good. However, I do also feel that creating this separate form and being like, you should love Alolan Raichu because it's not the other Raichu is a bit disrespectful to non-Alolan Raichu. I know that not all non-Alolan Raichu are portrayed poorly in the anime, but it's hard not to remember the ones that are the bullies. It's hard not to look at Raichu and be like, you have a bad trainer. Let your Raichu stim. I also think that I love Raichu because it's not as liked as Pikachu. Even the Pokédex entries acknowledge that people love Pikachu over Raichu. I'm sure that Ash not evolving his Pikachu into Raichu doesn't help Raichu's perception. There's nothing wrong with loving Pikachu, it's just that you shouldn't hate Raichu for such a silly reason. Anyway, I've gone on enough about my thoughts on Raichu. Let's move on to the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Raichu the mouse Pokemon, who is number 0026. Here's what it looks like. Here's Alolan Raichu. Its types are Electric, and Alolan Raichu is Electric Psychic. Its abilities as Raichu is Static. Its ability as Alolan Raichu is Surge Surfer. Its hidden ability as Raichu is Lightning Rod. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 75 or 17.5%. Breeding, Field and Fairy. Egg groups. Hatch time is 10 cycles. Height as Raichu is 2'7" or 0.8 meters. Its weight is 66.1 pounds or 30 kilograms. 2'4" or 0.7 meters is Alolan Raichu's height. The weight is 46.3 pounds or 21 kilograms. Base experience yield is 122 in the first 4 gens, or 218 in 5+. Leveling rate is medium fast. Its EV yield is 3, all in speed. Its shape is that. Its footprint is that. Pokédex color is yellow. Other forms may have other colors. Base friendship is 70. Raichu is an electric type Pokemon introduced in Gen 1. It evolves from Pikachu when exposed to a Thunderstone. It's the final form of Pichu. In Alola, Raichu has a dual type electric psychic regional form. It evolves from Pikachu when exposed to a Thunderstorm. All Pikachu and Alola will evolve into this form regardless of their origin. It is the final form of Pichu in the Alola region. Biology. Raichu is a bipedal, rodent-like Pokemon. Raichu is covered in dark orange fur with a white belly. Its bifurcated ears are brown on the outside, yellow on the insides, and end in a distinctive curl. There is a circular yellow marking on each cheek where its electric sacs are, and it has a triangular dark brown nose. Its arms and feet have patches of brown fur at the end, and the soles of its long feet are tan with a circular orange pad in the center. On the back are two horizontal brown stripes. Its long, thin tail has a lightning bolt-shaped end. This lightning bolt is chipped on females. Raichu exudes a weak electrical charge from its body and glows slightly in the dark. Raichu's tail is used to gather electricity from the atmosphere or can be planted in the ground to search for electricity. It also protects Raichu from its high voltage power. Raichu can store over 100,000 volts of electricity, enough to knock out a Caparaja. If Raichu's sacs are fully charged, its ears will stand straight up and its muscles become stimulated. However, it will become aggressive if it has stored too much electricity and stress. To keep from reaching this state, it discharges electricity through its tail into the ground. This leads to scorched patches near its nest. Being the result of evolution via evolution stone, Raichu is rarely found in the wild, though they can be found in forests and woodlands. The main reason Raichu is rarely seen with Pokemon trainers is because people prefer the look it had as Pikachu. As revealed in the Pokemon series episode Electric Shock Showdown, Raichu is not capable of earning speed attacks upon evolving, can only learn them when they're still Pikachu. As shown in Pokemon Sleep, Raichu is known to sleep while discharging electricity, and a long tail is planted into the ground like a rod. It can electrocute anyone who comes near it while sleeping. Raichu and its pre-evolved forms are the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Full Tackle. Forms. Raichu has a regional form, Alolan Raichu. In Alola, Raichu has lighter coloring and more rounded features. Its eyes are blue with half yellow half circles along the bottom. It has large yellow ears with an inner spiral toward the base and brown on the inside. These ears are thicker and less pointed than standard Raichu's ears. In addition to its white belly, Alolan Raichu has white markings on its paws and bright yellow lines between its digits. The stripes on its back have also turned white, and there's a small white circular marking on each heel. The lightning bolt-shaped tip of its tail has rounded edges. By collecting its psychic power and its tail, it can ride it like a surfboard and float in the air. While its cheek sacs are still used to store electricity, rubbing them releases a sweet aroma while also getting a light shock. This is also thought to be connected to its psychic abilities. Alolan Raichu's origins were initially a mystery at the time. The people of Alola suggested that it ate too many sweet and fluffy pancakes, especially those made with a secret Alolan recipe. However, researchers believe the change is related to Alolan Raichu's diet in general. It is also believed the weather and climate of the Alola region played a role in the transformation. Alolan Raichu is capable of unleashing star-shaped thunderbolts. It's also known by the name Hodad. Alolan Raichu is the only known Pokemon capable of using the Z-move, Stoked Spark Surfer. It is also the only known Pokemon that can have Surge Surfer as an ability. Evolution. Raichu evolves from Pikachu, and its final form Pichu. In Alola, Raichu is a regional form that evolves from Pikachu, and is the final form of Pichu in the Alolan region. Here it is. Cool? Okay, now here we have Alolan Raichu standing off its tail in Pokemon, the series. These are all weird and broken. Now I'm gonna have to zoom out to see what the heck's going on with this. Alolan Raichu are rarely seen on the ground, preferring to float on their tails, classic Hodad behavior. That should be probably somewhere in there, but whatever. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. Raichu is part of an unnamed rescue team that gathers at Pokemon Square just before the player and partner are able to access Magma Cavern. Pokedex entries in red and blue. Its long tail serves as a ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power. Yellow. When electricity builds up inside its body, it becomes feisty. It also glows in the dark. Stadium. Its electrical powers may reach 10,000 volts. It discharges electricity from its tail, so it is not harmed by its own power. Gold. When its electricity builds, its muscles are stimulated, and it becomes more aggressive than usual. Silver. If the electric pouches in its cheeks become fully charged, both ears will stand up straight. If its electric pouches run empty, it raises its tail to gather electricity from the atmosphere. Stadium 2 is just gold again. That was all in Gen 2, in Gen 3, in Ruby. If the electrical sacs become excessively charged, Raichu plants its tail in the ground and discharges. Scorched patches of ground will be found near this Pokemon's nest. Sapphire. This Pokemon exudes a weak electrical charge from all over its body that makes it take on a slight glow in darkness. Raichu searches for electricity by planting its tail in the ground. Emerald. If it stores too much electricity, its behavior turns aggressive. To avoid this, it occasionally discharges excess energy and calms itself down. In Fire Red, its electric charges can reach over 100,000 volts. Careless contact can cause an Indian elephant to faint. This is from before we had Copper Jaw. Leaf Green is just red and blue again. In Gen 4, Diamond, it turns aggressive if it has too much electricity in its body. It discharges power through its tail. In Pearl, it can loose 100,000 bursts of electricity, instantly downing foes several times its size. Platinum, its tail discharges electricity into the ground, protecting it from getting shocked. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are just their gold and silver counterparts again. In Gen 5, Black, White, Black 2, and White 2 are all Platinums again. In Gen 6, X is the gold entries. Y is Pearl's entry. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they're Ruby and Sapphire counterparts. In Gen 7, for non-Alolan Raichu, it unleashes electric shocks that can reach 100,000 volts. When agitated, it can knock out even an Indian elephant. Moon. It becomes aggressive when it has electricity stored up. At such times, even its trainer has to take care to avoid being attacked. In Ultra Sun, as electricity builds up inside its body, it becomes more aggressive. One theory is that the electricity buildup is actually causing stress. Ultra Moon, because so many trainers like the way Pikachu looks, you don't see this Pokemon very often. The Let's Go ones are just yellow again. Now for Alolan Raichu. Sun, it only evolves in this form in the Alola region. According to researchers, its diet is one of the causes of this change. In Moon, it uses psychokinesis to control electricity. It hops aboard its own tail, using psychic power to lift the tail and move about while riding it. In Ultra Sun, it focuses psychic energy into its tail and rides it like it's surfing. Another name for this Pokemon is Hoted. Ultra Moon, when you rub its cheeks, its sweet fragrance comes wafting out. However, you'll get a light shock. And Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It loves pancakes prepared with a secret Alolan recipe. Some wonder whether the recipe holds the key to this Pokemon's evolution. In Gen 8, Sword is red, blue, and leaf green. Shield is Crystal's entry. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, their counterparts. In Legends Arceus, whatever. It can discharge bursts of electricity exceeding 100,000 volts. A single strike with that amount of power would incapacitate one of the Copperjaw of my homeland. Now that they have an Indian elephant Pokemon, they can now put it in this. Oh, that was normal Raichu, by the way. This is Alolan Raichu now. Sword? It's believed that weather, climate, and food of the Alolan region all play a part in causing Pikachu to evolve into this form of Raichu. Shield? This Pokemon rides on its tail while it uses its psychic powers to levitate. It attacks with star-shaped thunderbolts. In Gen 9, Scarlet, its tail discharges electricity into the ground, protecting it from getting shocked. In Violet, if the electric pouches on its cheeks become fully charged, both ears will stand straight up. Here we have Raichu in the Alola Pokedex, Alolan Raichu in the Alola Pokedex, Raichu in the Paldea Pokedex with a Pikachu in the background, Raichu in the Kitakami Pokedex. It's a little family. We haven't had one of these in a while. Yeah, Pichu, Pikachu, and Raichu. They're all napping. Okay. Game locations. Start game locations. Events. Okay. Held items. Pokemon Cotton Gen 1 must be traded to a Gen 2 game in order for a held item to appear. In Pokemon Emerald, Raichu can only be found in Battle Frontier. From Red, Blue, and Yellow, you get Gold Leaf 100% of the time. Emerald, you get Oranberry 5% of the time. Legends Arceus, you get Citrus Berry 25% of the time. Spelled Apricorn 15% of the time. Grid items by level. Then again, Alpha, XP Candy L 100% of the time. Seed Mastery 40% of the time. Grid items by level. Again, I don't know how it's 140%, but it is. We're gonna move on. For stats, we're gonna compare generations 1 through 5, and then 6 onward here, and we'll do 6 onward with the Alolan. HP 60, that stays the same. Attack 90, that stays the same. Defense 55, that stays the same. Special attack 90, that stays the same. Special defense 80, that stays the same. Speed is 100, then that one's 110. So that goes from 475 to 485. This Pokemon special base stat in Gen 1 was 90. Then we're gonna compare Gen 6 onward with the Alolan Raichu. So HP 60 for both of them. Attack 90. Well, that in this form it's 85. Defense is 55 in this form, 50 in that form. Special attack 90, and then 95 in that form, 80, and then 85 in that form. And then speed is 110 both ways. They're both 485. Pokeathon stats. For type effectiveness, we're going to compare Raichu with Alolan Raichu here. We'll start with Raichu's damage normally by Normal, fighting, poison, rock, bug, ghost, fire, water, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Ones that move look to be bug, ghost, dark, fighting, and psychic. So weak 2, ground for double, and this one has now weak 2, ground, bug, ghost, and dark for double. Both are not immune to anything. This one's resistant to flying, steel, and electric for half. This one is resistant to fighting, flying, steel, electric, and psychic for half. I got a note here for normal Raichu. If this Pokemon has Lightning Rod, the effectiveness of electric type moves is 0, so it goes from half to 0. For Learn Set, by leveling up, we're going to read these because of the nature of how Pikachu's line evolves. It is possible to get a level 1 Raichu. This is Raichu's moveset. I guess there's also one for a Alolan Raichu. Level 1, you get Play Nice, Sweet Kiss, Nuzzle, Nasty Plot, Charm, Thunder Wave, Double Team, Electric Ball, Faint, Spark, Agility, Iron Tail, Discharge, Light Screen, Thunder, Thundershock, Tail Whip, Growl, Quick Attack, and you evolve, you get Thunder Punch, and 5, you get Thunderbolt. For Alolan Raichu, 1, you get Play Nice, Sweet Kiss, Nuzzle, Nasty Plot, Charm, Thunder Wave, Double Team, Electrical Ball, Faint, Spark, Agility, Iron Tail, Discharge, Light Screen, Thunder, Thundershock, Tail Whip, Growl, Quick Attack, Evo, you get Psychic, and 5, you get Thunderbolt. Just get the TMs. We'll do the Alolan Raichu TMs. Team 1, Takedown, Team 2, Charm 3, Fake Tears 4, Agility 7, Protect, 18 Thief, 20 Trailblaze, 23 Charge, Beam, 25 Facade, 32 Swift, 37 Draining Kiss, 41 Stored Power, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 48 Volt Switch, 50 Rain Dance, 54 Psyshock, 55 Dig, 58 Brick Break, 66 Body Slam, 68 Thunder Punch, 70 Sleep Talk, 72 Electro Ball, 74 Reflect, 75 Light Screen, 81 Grass Knot, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 96 Eerie Impulse, 98 Skill Swap, 103 Substitute, 120 Psychic, 122 Encore, 123 Surf, 126 Thunderbolt, 127 Play Rough, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 134 Reversal, 136 Electric Terrain, 138 Psychic Terrain, 140 Nasty Plot, 147 Wild Charge, 152 Giga Impact, 158 Focus Blast, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 171 Terra Blast, 173 Charge, 181 Knockoff, 192 Focus Punch, 205 Endeavor, 211 Electro Web, 218 Expanding Force, 227 Alluring Voice, 228 Psychic Noise, and 229 Upper Hand. So by Braining, I get Charge, Disarming Voice, Fake Out, Flail, Present for him, them, Tickle, you get Volt Tackle if you have the ball, I guess. Wish, and then the specific reasons, those specific things there. Raichu, from previous evolution here, we got Fly, Flying type. It's a physical move. Power is 90, accuracy is 95, PP it's 15. Nothing for Alolan Raichu. Special moves, in the event Wild Terra Pokemon, all 3 of these are you get the moves Focus Blast, Grass Knot, and Surf. Raichu's side game data. All this. Okay, in Pokemon Ranger, in its browser entry, Raichu discharges energy to greatly recharge the Styler's energy. It attacks by powerfully blasting thunderbolts from its body. That was Shadows of Volmia. In Guardian Signs, it restores the Styler energy. In Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, Raichu often play in the Cavern Zone or the Haunted Zone. Their favorite attractions are Bastiodon's Blocking Barrage and Tangrowth's Swing Along. In Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond, when it comes to electric-type moves, he has no equal. He saw the potential in Pikachu and made him his apprentice. Okay, got this stuff. Costumes in Pokemon Go. So you got a holiday hat, a party hat, original hat, Halloween hat, summer style, HF custom cap, flower crown, detective hat, beanie, world cap, New Year's hat, cherry blossoms. Holiday attire, a lot of this pretty much all of this we talked about yesterday with Pikachu, so I'm not going to go over it again. Alolan Raichu's side game data, so in New Pokemon Snap, this Pokemon is a talented surfer using its psychic power to ride the waves. It's always practicing on the beach, waiting for that perfect wave to roll in. Here's its evolution data. I already talked about this yesterday, so I'm not going to do it again. Sprites. Okay, so we can see how it gets a little thinner, like Pikachu does over time. Still keeps being kind of chubbier, though. So yeah, you can see this, and then you can see this coloring, this interesting yellow coloring, where it looks more like a Pikachu. You got all these. You got the shiny. Now it's kind of a dark yellow. Then now, humorously, this goes from like a gold, a sort of orange and gold, and in Gen 3, then that kind of becomes, I guess, the inspiration for Gen 3's shiny, because it's so orange. Yeah, because it becomes orange with a little bit of the kind of seems to be a little bit of both inspired. This kind of keeps the color closer to this shiny. That's interesting for the highlights. And Diamond Pearl, we get the for Gen 4, we get the little notch in the females, and that kind of stays kind of the same generally. Not really much to say about the back sprites. Gen 5, you can full body back sprites, and it's kind of, you can see it going around like the tail. That's kind of cool. So these are a little darker orange, especially the back sprites. You can really see. Then you got these now models. These are now lighter orange. These. Now you got Alolan Raichu here. Get to see shiny Alolan. Oh, that's different. That's interesting. It's now a brown rather than that sort of tan color. Pretty much everything is darker, I guess, except for maybe the eyes. Yeah, it does seem like that. Yes. So then we got Let's Go Pikachu. Yeah, or an Eevee. And we got this. Yeah, they're still kind of orange. Yep, we got Sword and Shield, Legends Arceus, whatever. Okay, then we got Home. Yep, that's all the sprites in the anime. We've got Raichu in the Pokemon series, Alolan Raichu in the Pokemon series, and the big one is Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. I've got a female Raichu in the Pokemon series. We got, for this first entry, we're gonna cut to a scene in the anime, and then we'll have the professional read it.
Raichu, a mouse Pokemon of the electric element. Raichu is the evolved form of Pikachu. It can shock with more than 100,000 volts, enough to render a Dragonite unconscious.
Welcome back. Let's move on. PK01, Source Dexter, entry, Raichu, the evolved form of Pikachu. Pikachu and Raichu are both mouse Pokemon of the electric variety. Combined voltage approaching shockingly dangerous levels. In X and Y, episode 65 in Serena's Pokedex, Raichu, the mouse Pokemon, and the evolved form of Pikachu. Raichu's tail functions as a ground and releases electricity into the surface, which keeps it from shocking itself. Sun and Moon, episode 13, in Rotom Pokedex. Raichu, a Lola form, the mouse Pokemon, an electric and psychic type. Raichu manipulates electricity with its mind, and its psychic powers allow it to use its tail as transportation. Journeys, I think. JN018 anyway. Goes Rotom Phone, Raichu, the mouse Pokemon, an electric type, and the evolved form of Pikachu. As Raichu's body fills with electricity, its demeanor becomes more aggressive. Okay. Origins, you got Lieutenant Surge's Raichu and Pokemon Origins. You got others, you got all these things in the manga, you got all that, you got Raichu and Pokemon Adventures, presumably it's Lieutenant Surge's. You got all this. Pokedex entry in Pokemon Adventures, chapter 139. When the electricity accumulated in Raichu's cheeks reach a maximum, its ears will become pointed. I guess this is a translation version of it, I guess. Okay. So then, got the TCG. Okay, so other appearances. Alolan Raichu appears as a Pokemon summoned from the Pokeball. It attacks with Surge Surfer, surfing with its tail across the stage and damaging passerby with electricity. Alolan Raichu in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Okay, so in TFG, trivia. No other Pokemon has the same type combination as Alolan Raichu. In Pokemon Red and Blue, there is a scientist at the Pokemon Lab in Cinnabar Island who will trade a Raichu for an Electrode. If the player talks to him after the trade, he will mention that the Raichu evolved, which is not possible. This mistake was due to the original translation of the script in the Japanese Blue, in which this person traded a Graveler for a Kadabra, rather than that of Pokemon Red and Green. This error was corrected in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green as the script was retranslated. Raichu's Fire Red and Sun Pokedex entry discuss Raichu's electricity being able to knock out an Indian elephant. In Pokemon Legends Arceus, This is changed to Kabaraja, which is based on the Indian elephant. Several Pokédex entries claim Raichu can discharge up to 100 volts. However, its Stadium entry claims it to only discharge up to 10,000 volts. This is likely a translation error due to the way the numbers are read in Japanese, where 100,000 literally reads 10,000s. Raichu appears in every regional Pokédex except the Unova Pokédex. Although Pikachu is the first partner Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow, it is not possible to directly evolve it into Raichu in the game. It must be traded in from Red and Blue. This inability to evolve Pikachu is a reference to Ash's Pikachu in the series. This next point is just the one we did in Rattata again, about them all being the same. Raichu is the 26th Pokemon in both the National Pokédex and the Alola Pokédex in Sun and Moon. Alolan Raichu is the only regional form Pokemon to have a Z-move exclusive to it. Raichu is the most common Pokemon found amongst rivals, being used by 5 of them. Alolan Raichu is the only Alolan form available in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and can only be obtained by transferring from other games. Concept and development. Raichu and Alolan Raichu were designed by Atsuko Nishida. The concept of Alolan Raichu came from, Masufumi Nukita, which also involved writing its Pokédex entries. I think that's supposed to say who was also involved in writing its Pokédex entries. Raichu originally had an evolved form named Gorochu, which would have had 2 horns and fangs. Ken Sugimori stated that while there was nothing wrong with its appearance, it was nonetheless omitted from Pokemon Red and Green, as the staff found that the game balance was better without it, and the limited game space meant that some Pokemon originally designed to evolve twice were changed to evolve only once. Origin. Raichu's legs and long tail resemble those of a Jerboa or a kangaroo rat. Alolan Raichu may be based on the concept of surfing Pikachu and the sport of surfing itself, which originated in Hawaii, the inspiration for the Alola region, as well as the Hodad concept of being a fake surfer. Hodad is referred to as another name for Alolan Raichu in its Pokédex entry in Pokemon Ultra Sun. Its design and psychic type may have been influenced by Puka, a surfing Pikachu that appeared in Pokemon the series, which had psychic powers and blue eyes. In the Pokemon Stadium series, Colosseum, XD, and Battle Revolution, Raichu rides on its tail when using the move Surf. Aww. According to Ken Sugimori, he asked Atsuko Nishida to design Alolan Raichu since she was the one who had worked on the original Raichu design. Nishida insisted that Raichu has always been cuter than people might think. I agree. And designed Alolan Raichu to emphasize Raichu's cuteness. In particular, she designed it with a motif of bread. Oh, that's why it's darker. Oh, that's like burnt bread. That's cute. The in-game lore of people believing that its evolution is induced by eating pancakes was added afterward to play up the concept. The fact that Alolan Raichu was designed after bread may have also inspired the sweet fragrance released from its cheeks, as well as the look of its paws, which resemble whipped cream, decorations, cream puffs, and orbozy. Name origin: Raichu may be a combination of Rai, thunder, and Chuchu. Onomatopoeia for the squeak of a mouse. Other languages. See also references, external links to all the Alolan forms, and that's it. Before we move on, I forgot to mention the box colors. I didn't do this yesterday. Either. So, so it's yellow for electric, you can see, and it's got this darker and even darker kind of more like the brown on Raichu here. Yep, and that's everything. Let's move on. Let's watch Raichu's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we will be watching Electric Shock Showdown. In this episode, Ash, the main character, and his traveling companions, Rocket and Misty, 2 gym leaders, have come to Vermilion City. There's also Ash's Pokemon, Pikachu, and they are now in the gym, in the Vermilion City gym, where Lieutenant Surge here is the gym leader, and he's about to show off Raichu, his Pokemon. So Ash has just asked him why he is making fun of Pikachu, and then he's saying, like, this is why, and he'll show off here.
Why? Go Pokeball!
Yay!
There he is, Raichu!
It's a Raichu!
Raichu, a mouse Pokemon of the electric element. Raichu is the evolved form of Pikachu. It can shock with more than 100,000 volts, enough to render a Dragonite unconscious.
Wow. Or I guess it itself is not so much the bully as its trainer. We'll move on now. Let's see why other people love Raichu. Let's look at fan art. Hello, nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're doing a DeviantArt fan art. For those of you familiar with the series, you might be wondering why we're starting on this single image page here. That's because this is the only image we're doing today. It's called Raichu e Pikachu by GBR Sasunaru? Yep, and it's this cool pose, like they're, I don't know, almost looks like they're in a sitcom, for a kid's sitcom or something, like they're, I don't know, like they're brothers, and they don't get along, but they really love each other, that kind of doing the, pose, back to back kind of pose like that, and it's nice, yeah, it looks good. Bye. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming today, as I need to wait until I've talked about Eevee before I can evolve Pikachu into Raichu. As for female Raichu and a lowland Raichu, I'll have to wait until I've talked about the Gen 4 and 7 Pokemon respectively. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Sandshrew. As always, this isn't my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow.